wabarakatuh. The Honorable, the Head of English Education Department, Dr. Yusuf Supriyono, SPD, MPD, the Honorable Lecturers of English Education Department, the Honorable, the President of English Department Students Association, Kian Diana, the Honorable, all the committees of the National English Skills Competition, Nestion 2025, and all the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cynthia Nuraini, and I will be your Master of Ceremony for this event. Welcome to the National English Skills Competition Nation 2025. First of all, let us extend our highest gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Almighty, for whose blessing we are able to gather in good health. May peace and blessing also be upon our noble prophet, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness into the brightness era. The opening ceremony for the Final Nation 2025, organized by the English Department Students Association, Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, University of Siliwangi, held on Thursday, 16 October 2025, with the theme Empowering Inclusive and Innovative Education for a Brighter Future, is began. The agenda for this opening ceremony is as follows. First is opening. Second, recitation of the Holy Quran. Third, performance of the Indonesian National Anthem, Indonesia Raya, and Mars Apkit. Fourth is committee report. Fifth, speeches, and sixth, closing prayer. To open the ceremony, let us say Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Next agenda, reciting the Holy Quran by Silji Agnia Salima. Please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu idza qila lakum tafassahu fil majalis fafsahu yafsahillahu lakum wa idza qila anshuzu fanshuzu yarfa'illahu allazina amanu minkum wallazina utul ilma darajat. Wallahu bima ta'maluna khabir. Sadaqallahul azim.
Listening to the national anthem, Indonesia Raya, and Mars Apkit, ladies and gentlemen are pleased to check your position.
Marilah semua kita berkarya meraih cita-cita mulia. Fakultas Keguruan dan Ilmu Pendidikan, wadah kita semua. Ciptakan manusia pendidik pemuda untuk negara. Teruskan perjuangan semangat 45 demi nusa bangsa. Singsakan lengan, tunjukkan prestasimu, menuntut ilmu. Lebarkanlah dadamu, kobarkan semangatmu, demi nusa bangsa. Marilah semua kita berkarya meraih cita-cita mulia. Fakultas Keguruan dan Ilmu Pendidikan, wadah kita semua. Ciptakan manusia pendidik pemuda untuk negara. Teruskan perjuangan semangat 45 untuk kita semua. Teruskan perjuangan semangat 45 demi nusa bangsa.
Report by the Chairperson of Nation 2025, the Honorable Najwa Hamidatun Najah. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. The Head of English Education Department, Dr. Yusuf Supriyono, MPD, the Honorable Presidents of the English Department Student Association, Kian Diana, distinguished judges, and all participants of the National English Skill Competition, Nation 2025. Alhamdulillah, with Allah's blessing, we are able to gather here today. Peace and blessing be upon to the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness to brightness. Today marked the final round of the National English Skill Competition, a moment we all have been waiting for, with the theme empowering inclusive and innovative education for a brighter future. This competition reminds us that education is not just about knowledge, it's about inclusion, innovation, and empowerment. Through English, we can voice our thoughts, inspire others, and bring positive change to our world. To all participants, I truly admire your courage and dedication. Reaching this final stage means you have already shown outstanding skill and determination. To our respected judges and the committee, thank you for your commitment and enthusiasm in making this event success. To all the final round participants today, give your best, enjoy every moment, and let your passion shine. Glorious Edsa, victorious Edsa. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Step on the following agenda are speeches. First, a speech from the President of the English Department Students Association, the Honorable Kian Diana.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable, the Head of English Education Department, Bapak Dr. Yusuf Supriyono, MPD, our respected judges, and also the participant and finalists. First of all, let us give thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His blessing, so we can gather here today at the final of the Nation English Skills Competition 2025. On behalf of the English Department Student Association, I would like to warmly welcome to all of you to this special event, and we are so happy and proud to see talented students from different universities across Indonesia joining this competition. Nation is not only about a winning of competition, it's also about learning, sharing idea, and building confidence in using English to express meaningful thoughts. To our beloved head of department, thank you for your continued support and guidance. To our judges, We truly appreciate your time and effort in evaluating and inspiring our participants. And to all finalists, congratulations. You have worked hard to reach this stage, and that already makes you a winner. Be proud of yourself and keep the spirit of learning alive. Finally, I would like to thank to all committee members and everyone who helped make this event possible. May today's competition be a good experience and bring inspiration to all of us. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Next agenda, we'd like to invite the head of English Education Department to deliver a speech and officially open the final Nation 2025. Allow us to welcome Dr. Yusuf Supriyono, SPD, MPD.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the National English Skill Competitions or Nation 2025, hosted by English Department Student Association, Universitas Siliwangi. Today, we gather here not only to compete, but also to celebrate language creativity and innovation under the inspiring theme, Empowering Inclusive and Innovative Education for a Brighter Future. Well, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to warmly welcome and congratulate our participants who had made it to this final stage. For the essay competition, thank you for Hoirunisa Salsabila from Universitas Siliwangi, Umar Sadat, Institut Pertanian Bogor, Azka Khalifakih Aulia, Universitas Siliwangi, Yuda Ardiansyah, Universitas Indonesia, Rodiah Hasan Alaidrus, Universitas Pancasila. And for the speech competition, Gada Alrida, Universitas Siliwangi, Naina Habibah, Politeknik Negeri Tanah Laut, Dwi Anjani Apriliana, Universitas Diponegoro, Cutia Nufrida, Universitas Siah Kuala, and Ilham Aditya, Universitas Lampung. And we also extend our deepest gratitude to the judges whose expertise and dedication make this event meaningful and fair. Especially for Dr. Agis Andriani from Universitas Siliwangi, thank you. And from Diah Sunggingwati from Universitas Mula Warman. And then Indah Nurmala Iswani LT Tasikmalaya. And Pak Junjun, always support, thank you, as the judge here for any programs held by Edsa. Pak Junjun from Universitas Siliwangi. And then, hello, Arif, thank you so much again. You support our program from IBAC. Raihani Fitri Salsabila from LT Tasikmalaya. Well, LT so far our partnership. Your presence and contribution to really enrich this academic celebration. Well, dear participants, today is your moment to shine, not only to show your English proficiency, but also your creativity, confidence, and critical thinking. Winning is not the only goal. The most important thing is to learn, to share, and to grow through this meaningful experience. While this competition inspire you to become educators and leaders who bring inclusivity and innovation into the heart of learning. Finally, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Edsa and committee team for your hard work, dedication, and teamwork in organizing this event. My Nation 2025 become a platform that inspires excellency, collaborations, and transformation in English educations across Indonesia. Well, I would like to invite you to say Bismillah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I officially open this event, Nation 2025. Once again, welcome to Nation 2025. Let's empower education, embrace innovations, and work together for a brighter future. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for the speeches. And the last agenda is praying, led by Intan Nurawalia. Please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma inna nas'aluka salamatan fid din wa afiatan fil jasad wa ziyadatan fil ilmi wa barakatan fil rizqi wa taubatan qablal maut wa rahmatan indal maut wa maghfiratan ba'dal maut wa hawwin alaina fi sakaratil maut wa jannah wa wan najata minan nar wal afwa indal hisab. Allahumma gfir lana dhunubana wa liwalidayna warhamhuma kama rabbayana sigoro. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. The opening ceremony of Final Nation 2025 has finished. I'm Cynthia Nurani. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you at the Nation 2025 final round. To our esteemed judges, our outstanding finalists, and our enthusiastic audience, welcome and thank you for being here today. Even though we are meeting online, I can already feel the excitement on the screen. Today, we will be witnessing some amazing performance in two categories, the essay presentation and the speech contest. So wherever you are right now, make sure you are comfy, stay connected, and get ready to cheer for our finalists. Before we begin the competition, let us first introduce our honorable judges who have kindly joined us today. For the essay presentation competition, we are truly honored to have Dr. Agis Andriani SPD M.Hum from Universitas Siliwangi, Professor Diah Sunggingwati SPD M.Hum from Universitas Mula Warman, and Miss Indah Nurmala Iswani from LT Tasikmalaya. Thank you very much for our essay judges, for your time and dedication. And for speech contest, please welcome our distinguished judges, Bapak Junjun Muhammad Ramdhani, PhD from Universitas Siliwangi, Bapak Arif MSc from IBEC, and Miss Raihani Fitri Salsabila, SPD from LT Tasikmalaya. Let's give a big virtual round of applause to all of our judges for their valuable contribution to Nation 2025. As mentioned during the technical meeting, the speech in the final round will be an impromptu speech. You will have 1 hour to prepare a persuasive speech. The five topic can be used as setting your ideas creatively. Now, let's start with the first category, the essay presentation final round. Here is the order of appearance for our essay presentation finalists. First is Umar Sadat. Second is Azka Khalif Fakih Aulia. Third is Rodia Hasan Alaidrus. Fourth is Yuda Ardiansyah. And fifth is Hoirunisa Salsabila. Good luck to all our participants. All right, everyone, it's time to begin our essay competition. Our first presenter is Umar Sadat. So for Umar Sadat, time is yours.
Thank you for this sentence I have been given. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to the judges I respect the most. Good morning to the moderator of this meeting, and good morning to my fellow university peers. I am honored to be given a chance to presentate my ideas here. But beforehand, let me introduce myself. I am Umar Sadat, a freshman college student of the Department of Community Nutrition at Faculty of Human Ecology at IPB University. I am very thankful to present my work today on the National English Competition Nestion with my work title Puzzle as the Highway to the Golden Generation of Indonesia 2045. To make things clear before, the Golden Generation of Indonesia 2045 is a vision to mark the success of 100-year anniversary of Indonesia, which later will occur in 2045. The term was firstly introduced by Bappenas during our former president, Mr. Joko Widodo governance around 2015. It was meant as the expectation to use the demography bonus. Okay, please go to other slide. Okay. So the main ideas of the essay is very much because of their historically driven. The existence of puzzle can be traced to the ancient civilization of Egypt, China, and even Babylon. The utility of the puzzles was beyond than just a game. Puzzle was used by the scholars to entertain themselves. It was on the papers and educational tool in the royalty families. The second, puzzle was seen firstly in Europe as something that's similarly same as before used in ancient civilization. It was used to entertain the scholars as a logical task game. In this modern 21st century world, puzzle is scientifically proven to endorse the critical thinking among the students and promote interactive learning to create a better learning environment. Puzzles are foreseen to help the emergence of critical thinking among the Indonesian students on the various level of education, from the early childhood, the kindergarten, to high school students. Puzzle build the key to lead the vision of the Golden Indonesia 2045 occurrence. Please go to the next slide. Thank you. So when the idea struck to my mind, you might asking why it has to be puzzle, why not a certain complex curriculum? We have had those complex curriculum behind us. It's already on our system right now. But sometimes the complex problems doesn't require such a complex solution either. You can use a simple solution too to solve the problem, right? So why it has to be puzzles? Puzzles is very much applicable. It can be used by anyone to be taught to their student, to be taught to their children. It can be used by household wife to their children, and it also can be used by the professionals, by the teachers to their pupils. Puzzles are very much affordable, especially the simple one. The vast price range puzzles have is can be considered as affordable from a various economic background. By these two factors combined, puzzles are very much obtainable. By that means it's freely traded everywhere, and it can be made from scratch, from the paper and from the blocks, like the wood blocks. Furthermore, puzzles are easy to distribute. It can be distributed to even the most remote places area in Indonesia, to the remote schools, and even to like middle of nowhere, if there are any schools there. The simplicity of puzzle leads to minimize the probability of error during the execution of this project. Despite of those, puzzle offers a very enormous benefits, uh, such as later I will introduce you in the next slide. Okay, puzzles is very much simple as I stated before, yet it's very beneficial. Puzzle can emerge to critical thinking since day one. Uh, it can be introduced, it can be used from a younger childhood as early as 3 years old to elementary school students to junior high school student and to high school students. It covers the needs of younger children cognitive learning, emerge critical thinking and creative thinking. Puzzles are very adaptive as an educational tool. It can be used as a main educational tool and a supportive educational tool to support and optimize advanced subject grasp later in high school and junior high school. It can solid the student understanding on advanced subjects such as advanced chemistry, advanced physics, advanced biology, and advanced math. This would eventually lead to better society ahead, better economic ahead, and which is a product of the vision of the golden generation of Indonesia 2045. Next, please. By the simplicity puzzle offer, the availability of puzzle would be insanely advanced. Puzzles are affordable, it's applicable, and it's obtainable. It can be used from the bigger city, from the capital city to the regency regions and to the remote regency regions, and so on. Next. The future we have been dreaming of, the golden generation of Indonesia 2045, the emergence of critical thinking among the students in Indonesia is probably might have already been on our hands. The adaptation of puzzle would be so rapid thanks to its simplicity, and it would be later the norm of the Indonesian education system. With the advantage we can be seen would be very noticeable among us. It used as an express highway to succeed the golden generation of Indonesia 2045 and would later be the indicator of economic growth and society rapid growth is foreseen as the result. Next, please. And so that the slides have reached to the end, the questions would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Umar, for the insightful presentations. Now we'll have a comment session from our judges. For Ibu Agis and Miss Indah, time is yours. To Ibu Agis, the floor is yours.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm so sorry for a little bit while for the technical problem. Hi, Umar.
Hi, Miss.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And how about you?
Good. It is interesting talking about puzzle related to your topic. Talking about your essay, I'm interested in the references you involve in your essay. What do you think about the importance of references in supporting your argument?
Um, the reference is like building a backbone, building a foundation of the argument. If the reference is strong enough, the argument would be strongly backbone by the references.
And then, what do you think about your references involved in your article to support your argument?
For the reference I use in my article, I use the open source, and I think it's very much it's very much genuine from me, but since I'm not actually familiar enough with article and journal rank, so I can't say much. But I did my best to look for the best references I can get online.
Mhm. All right. You say about your originality, is it?
I didn't say much, but my originality of essay, uh, which tested by Turnitin, was below 1%.
I mean, what is the original of you related to your essay? The idea, or for example, or whatever
Oh,
that
like like
let
the
your
I
essay unique in your perspective.
well, I think because puzzles have always been seen as something very trivial. It's like a very small thing, and it's very basic, as maybe some of us can imagine. It's just used in lower rank education, let's say kindergarten or elementary school, early elementary school. But despite of those, I think puzzles is more than that because it promotes critical thinking, which leads to my main topic, mind ideas here. And hence why I just thinking about the use of puzzle in education because it's simple. It can be used in a very vast education level, and it also very applicable to the education system. It doesn't need very much uh, money to build the project. It's cheap and it is, yeah.
Mhm. Do you think your puzzle is digital or conventional?
It can be both because the ideas is quite general in terms that puzzles itself is very general. There are many puzzles type, but the puzzle specific I stated in my essay is more like a conventional puzzle in like in the classroom, like
All right.
the physical puzzle.
Why do you prefer? Why do you prefer to serve or to convey the conventional puzzle than the digital one for education?
Because the physical puzzle is very much practical. As we know, in Indonesia, we have some education gap. Uh, the students in a bigger city, in the city, tend to experience better learning than those in the remote regions area, which lacks of connectivity, as we know. And using a digital puzzle is not just very practical to those in the remote regions. That's why I prefer the conventional one until the problems of those connectivity and educational gap in Indonesia is solved.
Do you have any suggestions to the teacher that want to involve your idea using a puzzle for learning for the students? What kind of suggestions? do you want to deliver to the teachers, I mean?
I from me, the suggestion is would be you can use very much tools, but it also depends on what kind of student you teach to. Like if you teach the elementary student, it would be very different to teach the high school student. But again, you can use very much tool as AI. It can help to build the idea of puzzle you can use, and also the student's ability, because in a higher level of puzzle such as the Arduino Uno puzzle, the robot, it requires some student's ability and it needs certain niche skill rather than those simple puzzle.
All right. Um, the next question, it's related to the way you write. Is it the first time for you to write essay?
This is my second time, but as the finalist, this is my first time.
Oh, sounds great. I hope that this will be your great experience joining this kind of competition. Cynthia, I think that's all for me. It will be to the next judges, I think. Yeah. Good luck, Umar Sadat.
Thank you, Miss.
So, Miss Indah, if you have any feedback or maybe another comment for Omar Sadat, please.
Okay, thank you, Cynthia. Good morning, Umar.
Good morning, Miss.
How are you feeling after the presentation?
I'm feeling pretty unconfident, to be honest.
Oh, you're feeling
Yes,
unconfident?
because
Oh, yeah.
yeah, this is my first time using English full on my presentation. Beforehand, I only use Indonesian.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. Even though you said it is your first time using full English as a presentation, I think you did quite
Yeah,
well in terms of grammar and your fluency. Although, of course, there are some notes, there are some things that you can improve, but that's okay. Overall, I think you did for quite a good performance. I like the way you warmly welcome the audience, and your organization of the presentation is also very good. But one thing I would like to highlight is that maybe since you mentioned about puzzles, you gave quite some examples. You can also give us some visuals, just like the way you wrote it in your essay. And however, overall, I think you did quite a good performance. And I think I have a question for you, Umar, if that's okay. Since you mentioned about puzzle and the way it is used in several age groups, I would like to know your opinion. What age group do you think would benefit the most from using puzzles in their education?
okay, thank you for the question. So the most group that will get the benefits from the puzzle is the students itself, like the students in the general, because again, puzzle can be used in a vast education level. It can be used by the kindergarten students to the high school students. It used to emerge critical thinking to the higher order thinking skills. And so the benefits will be evenly dropped to the students in the general in a very vast education level.
Okay, thank you, Umar. But if you could choose one age group, what do you think will it be?
It would be the kindergarten to elementary school, because for the most student on that level, they are on building their critical thinking, so would later they would be used them later in higher education level.
Okay, thank you, Umar. And one last question. I want to mention more about the elementary school students. What kind of puzzle do you think would be most suitable for them?
Since elementary students is very variative by the age, like the early elementary students probably average full age like around 7 years old to 9, and the higher would be 10 to 12. We can split them in half groups. So the early age of elementary school, it will be suitable to use jigsaw puzzle. Like jigsaw puzzle, like when you think puzzle, you probably would think about jigsaw puzzle. Then they can later in around third or fourth year be introduced to Rubik's and a little bit of Arduino Uno, if possible, on the school's curriculum.
Okay, I see. All right. Thank you, Umar. That's Cynthia. I think that's all from me.
Miss.
Thank you very much, judges, for the valuable feedback. Now, let's move on to our next finalist, Ajka Holy Fakih Aulia. You have 10 minutes to presenting your essay. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. Okay, good morning, honorable judges and everyone here. My name is Askali Fakih Aulia from University of Siliwangi. Okay, yes. And the title of my presentation is Building an Adaptive Curriculum in Indonesia. Indonesia, taught teacher development and educational flexibility. In this competition, many ideas beautifully explore how technology transforms education from virtual reality and AI-based learning. But today, I would like to bring a slightly different perspective, insight to focusing on the tools, but I focus on the people behind them. It's our teachers. Because even the more advanced innovation will not work without those who bring it to life. That's why throughout this presentation, I want to talk about how teacher development becomes the key to an adaptive education system in Indonesia. Okay, next slide. Now let's start with the background. Indonesia has changed its curriculum several times, from the competency-based curriculum to the school-based curriculum and 2030 curriculum, and now the independent curriculum, known as Curriculum Merdeka. Each change aims to improve education quality, but in reality, the implementation often faces the same issue. This is the teacher readiness. Even though the government has made many reforms, Indonesia PISA 2022 results still show that our student average reading score remains below the OECD average. It means the change in this curriculum haven't yet translated into the real learning improvement. Many teachers struggle to adapt, and not because they reject the change, but because they are not fully supported with equal training, clear guides, and researchers. This creates a gap between the idea of curriculum reform and its real practice in the classroom. So the main question of my essay is simple. How can we make curriculum reform not only adaptive in the theory, but also effective in practice? Okay, next slide. From this background, I identify and main challenge, 5 main challenge. And teachers are portrayed as object of curriculum change, not as agent of change. Our education system often change policy. Our education system often change policies, but teachers are left as the exteriors of the decision makers. They are trained after the curriculum is launched, not involved before the design is made. They are burned as by administrative tasks and like opportunities to innovate and explore their teaching identified. That's why I believe that teacher development should stand at the heart of every curriculum reform. Because teachers are not just implementers, but they are the living curriculum. Okay, the next slide. Yes. Here I explain the 4 main challenge that make the system less adaptive. First, frequent curriculum shift. Every few years, the structure change, but not the support system. And second, unequal teacher training, especially in 3T areas where access and mentorship are limited. And the third, administrative burners. Teachers spend more time filing reports than creating creative learning. And and the last, lack of the professional trust. Teachers are still treated as followers of police, not as professionals with autonomy. All this is to make our reform look dynamic, but in reality, the system stay right. Okay, next slide. Yes. To understand this better, let's reflect globally. For example, Finland places teachers as the center of reform. They are trust, respect, and given full autonomy to design learning based on the student needs. This doesn't mean Indonesia must copy Finland, but we can learn that education reform must be with trust, not control, and that trust grow when teachers are continuously developed and support. And next, okay, based on theirs, my essay proposed the 3 main solution. The first is short term. Trying the continuous teacher training, they're focusing on adaptability, not just complaints. And the second, medium term, build flexible learning ecosystem that allows school to adjust teaching to local needs. And the third, long term, it's create policy space where the teachers can contribute to curriculum discussion, not just follow them. This way, the curriculum becomes a living process, constantly enveloped through the teachers themselves. Okay, next. Okay, and to conclude, education reform in Indonesia shouldn't only focus on writing the documents, but involving the people. It's our teachers. A truly adaptive curriculum is not defined by how often it's changed, but by how well our teacher can grow with it. Because at the end of the day, teachers are the heartbeat of education. They are the living curriculum, and in the end, a curriculum is not just a document; it's a living system, paid by the people inside it. And teachers are the heartbeat of the system. So if we truly want adaptive education, we must start by empowering those who make learning come alive. I think thank you very much for this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajka, for the insightful presentation. Now we'll have a comment session from our judges. To Ibu Dia, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, the moderator. Hello, Aska. Okay, I also read your essay as well as your presentation here. There are a couple of questions that I'd like to ask about. Your topic is about, your essay topic is about teacher development and educational flexibility. Is that right?
Right. Yes.
Okay. So what do you mean by teacher development here?
Okay. What do you mean that? Okay. Okay. Please excuse my English. Aku masih belajar, but I will my best to explain it clearly. Sebelumnya aku minta maaf kalau misalnya aku campur Indo, karena di sini aku masih maba, and I'm not fluent in English. Development teachers. It's like when I say teacher development, I refer to the continuous process of improving teachers' knowledge, skill, and mindset.
Okay.
Yes. Not only formal training, but also through, but also collaboration and adaptation, no, but also like new learning needs, the learning needs.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, what I mean, there is a slight differences between what you already written and what you are talking about. The title especially, the title is about teacher development and educational flexibility. If I read the title, I thought you are going in your essay. I thought you were going to talk about how teacher develop professionally, or you provide program that facilitate teachers to develop. But in your essay, you talk about the challenges of the curriculum. Is that right?
Right.
So what actually you are talking about? The teacher itself, teacher development itself, or the challenges of curriculum in general?
Okay. Okay. That's right. In my essay, I discuss how frequent curriculum changes in Indonesia, and how the independent curriculum, like from KBK, KTSP to K13 and Merdeka curriculum, often faces the same challenging teacher gradients. When I talk about teacher development, I don't just mean formal training or one-time workshop. I mean creating a system that help teacher continuously learn, share, and adapt to those curriculum changes. So, reader, then only changing the curriculum, we should also focus on developing teacher professionally.
How?
How?
Yes.
I give the solution in the 6th slide. Jadi, I'm sorry, mixed in Indonesia. Jadi aku tuh jadi saya ngasih saran ada 3 tahapan. Karena kenapa di esai saya tuh bilang kalau perubahan atau reformasi kurikulum itu salah satu objeknya tuh karena guru yang belum siap, itu karena gini, dari kurikulum 13 ke kurikulum Merdeka, itu kan kita bisa bilang kalau itu tuh fleksibel gitu, mengikuti era digital gitu. Karena dari kurikulum 13 konsepannya itu kan ke kurikulum merdeka itu lebih memanfaatkan digital. Kayak anak-anak jadi banyak membuat project dan lain-lain. Nah, di situ tuh kan ada kurikulum merdeka revisi. Itu tuh karena beberapa dan itu juga tidak merata dan ada beberapa guru di situ yang belum siap gitu akan pemanfaatan digital karena mungkin bisa dibilang kayak ada guru senior gitu yang mungkin belum siap dalam pemanfaatan digital gitu. Nah, saya tuh di sini bilang teachers development itu kalau di sini teachers itu harus sebagai role model gitu. Jadi harus banyak pengembangan dari segi skill ataupun hal-hal soft skill lainnya gitu. Jadi kesiapan guru di sini sebagai perantara atau yang akan mengimplementasikan kurikulum tersebut gitu. So I say development teachers like this.
Yeah, so I think my suggestion is that if you are focusing on the teacher development, so your essay and your oral presentation should focus on that rather than the shift of the curriculum. You talk a lot about the shift of curriculum and the challenges rather than how the teacher develop within in the curriculum shift. Okay, that's my suggestion for your next essay. Yeah. Okay, thank you, moderator.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Dia. Let's move to hear some comments from Ibu Agis, please.
All right, thank you. Hi, Aska.
Hi.
What do you think about your idea?
What my ideas of my essay?
Yes.
My idea for my essay.
I can't hear your voice.
Oh.
Would you please to be focused and serious, Aska?
My voice. Suaranya nggak ada. Sorry, ma'am.
Yeah. You can answer my questions. What do you think about your idea?
Okay, sorry. I think the connection. Sorry. Okay. My ideas from my essay. My ideas from my essay is dilihat dari background. My ideas from my essay is background solution.
All right, I'll change my questions. What is your motivation involving in this competition?
Oh, sorry. My voice. Oh, wait. Sorry, ma'am. The connection. Wait.
I'm sorry, Azka, do you can continue your presentation? If it's okay if you cannot continue, we can skip. Move to the other participant. Okay, we can move to
I think that's all for me. Thank you, Cynthia. Oh, we can continue to the next participant.
okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for thank you very much for judges for the valuable feedback. Now let's move to our next finalist. Is Rabia Hassan Alaidrus. You have 10 minutes presenting your essay. Time is yours.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Thank you to the committee who worked hard on making this event possible. Thank you to the honorable judges who are here with us today. And thank you to my fellow peers from various universities. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Rodia Hassan Alaidrus. I'm a 5th semester informatics engineering student from Pancasila University. Today, for the final of the National English Skill Competition 2025, I will be presenting my essay titled Virtual Reality, Unlocking Experiential and Immersive Learning for the Future of Education. Before we start, I'd like to ask a question to the audience. What was your favorite school subject? Raise your hand. Is anyone's favorite school subject biology? Or maybe history? Now, I want you to imagine, rather than learning biology and history from a plain old textbook, you're able to perform complex surgery and explore human anatomy firsthand without any risk. And for history, I want you to imagine being able to witness a historical event live firsthand with your own eyes. That is what we'll be exploring today with virtual reality. Okay, next. Next. Okay. Before we dive deeper into this topic, I want to explain why exactly I chose it. I have a deep passion for education. While neither of my parents are in the education field, both my extended family, whether from my dad's side or my mom's side, have many middle school teachers, high school teachers, and university lecturers. It is having this influence in my life that inspired me to become a university lecturer myself one day. And aside from a passion for education, as I previously mentioned, I am an informatics engineering student. I love technology, I love coding, I love programming, and I love robotics. This is how VR comes as a bridge between my two passions. As an aspiring university lecturer, I'm always looking for the best teaching method there is. Now, what better solution is there than to combine it with my passion of technology? We can do that with virtual reality. Next. Okay, let's dive deeper into this topic. Lecture-based methods dominate most classrooms, but studies prove they are ineffective. In fact, a study done by Freeman and colleagues in 2014 in large-scale meta-analysis covering 225 STEM studies found that students in lecture-based classes were 1.5 times more likely to fail compared to those in active learning settings. Now, what exactly is a good solution to this problem? Virtual reality changes this by offering multi-sensory interaction, visual, auditory, and even tactile. In fact, in a book created by Bordeaux and Coffit, released in 2003, those who are pioneers in VR research, they describe VR as a high-end user-computer interface that enables real-time simulation across multiple senses. VR itself is nothing new. Morton Helix Sensoroma simulator in 1962, and even Sutherland's head-mounted display in the late 1960s laid the foundation. Today, in our current time, according to the IMARC Group released in 2024, the VR education market is valued at about 5 billion USD and projected to reach over 41 billion by 2033. Verified market reports in 2025 gives a slightly different forecast, which is 25.5 billion by 2033, but both indicate massive growth. Next. So, how exactly can virtual reality transform our previously traditional learning? Let's first explore from the aspect of engagement and motivation. Virtual reality captures attention like no other tool. PwC in 2022 conducted a large-scale study showing VR learners had 4 times greater concentration than e-learning participants and 1.5 times more focus compared to traditional classroom. In Cambodia, Wikpe and Hyman in their study released in 2024 found that students using virtual reality for STEM had engagement levels 85% higher than peers in conventional classroom. How about from the side of retention and learning outcomes? Well, virtual reality improves not just engagement but retention. Koch and Candeli, in a paper released by them in 2025 in the Journal of Science and Education in the Journal of Science, Education and Technology, found that virtual reality learners outperform peers across all learning styles: visual, auditory, and mixed. PwC also showed that virtual reality students learn 4 times faster, while Wikpe and Hyman reported up to 25% improvements in test performance. Lastly, from the point of view of accessibility and inclusion, a study done by C2 and colleges released in 2023 in their study on VR for children with disabilities found that virtual reality can be a critical tool for inclusion. For example, students with autism benefit from controlled environments that reduce sensory overload, while students with ADHD can focus better and immersive experiences that block external distractions. Okay, next. Previously, we've discussed the benefit of virtual reality as a general tool. Now, how about if we apply virtual reality to specific subjects? Well, in medicine, virtual reality is transforming medical training. Houghton, Jakaton, and Trisupakiti, in a paper they released in 2025, conducted a meta-analysis of 21 studies with over 1,500 participants. The result of their study, they found strong positive effects, especially for skill-based learning, with an effect size of 0.692, showing that VR is particularly effective for clinical practice. Now, aside from medicine, VR is shown to be effective also in the field of STEM. Wicke and Hyman, in their study released in 2024, studied VR in Cambodia school and report a 25% improvement in STEM test results. Students were able to visualize molecules, forces, and engineering prototypes in a way textbooks could never allow. And lastly, VR can help in the field of language learning. Chen and Hughes, in their research released in 2022, researched mobile VR for English learning and found that VR created authentic communication context, improving both scores and motivation. Aside from English learning, German language learners using VR not only did better on exam, but also reported higher satisfaction, seeing VR as a fun and practical complement to textbooks. Next. Okay, well, we've previously listed the benefits of using virtual reality in education. This application is not as good as it sounds. Some barriers to widespread adoption of virtual realities include, first, high cost and infrastructure. Davidson, in a study he released in 2021 in language and semiotic studies, noted that VR is expensive. not just headsets, but also powerful computers, maintenance, and licenses. Hong Tong et al. In 2025 also reported that 70% of surveyed students viewed cost as the biggest drawback to implementing VR in education. Aside from cost, there is also a need for teacher training. Teachers need training not only in how to use virtual reality, but also in how to integrate it effectively into lessons. Without proper pedagogical guidance, the technology risks being underutilized. Now, for the third example of some barriers in implementing VR in education, there are accessibility issues. Schools in rural or underfunded areas may lack strong internet, reliable electricity, or physical space for VR. This could worsen inequalities in education. And lastly, there are some privacy and data security concerns involving VR. VR system track detailed user data like eye movement and interactions. School must ensure that using VR comply with data privacy laws. But Davison, in his study released in 2021, warns that many institutions lack the expertise to evaluate vendor practices. Okay, next. Okay, as a conclusion, VR itself is transforming education into a more engaging and immersive learning. It replaces passive listening with active exploration and discovery. It improves knowledge and retention. It improves knowledge retention and outcomes. And with evidence showing faster learning and stronger test performance with gains up to 25%, it supports inclusivity by adapting to diverse needs, from learning style to disabilities. VR can personalize education for everyone. Lastly, as a conclusion, challenges that in implementing VR are in cost, infrastructure, and readiness. True impact depends on sustainable, equitable adoption that closes not.
So you may stop your presentation. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for your insightful presentation. Now we'll have a conversation from our judges. To Ibu Agis, please.
Hi, Rodia
Hi.
Hasan.
Hi, ma'am.
Yeah. What is uniqueness of using virtual reality for learning?
In my opinion, to answer that question, one of the most unique aspect of implementing VR in education is its ability to adapt to the individual needs. Some people can, in traditional classroom, sometimes it's too fast for a few people, while sometimes it's too slow for others. In VR, this technology allows students to adapt learning to their specific needs. Aside from learning style, like I previously mentioned in my PowerPoint, it also helps in accessibility with certain students with disabilities, such as autism and ADHD.
Oh, nice. Great. Interesting topic. And my next question to you, Rodia, do you yourself love learning or using or applying virtual reality for your learning?
Unfortunately, while I deeply admire the topic, I myself haven't had the chance to apply it in my own learning, mainly because I don't have the money to apply it in my own learning. But I love studying about how it can be applied in education, and maybe one day with a good budget, I can try it for myself.
All right. And then talking about the students with special needs, in your opinion, how can virtual reality help them in learning?
Well, Like I explained in my PowerPoint, maybe we'll take two examples, which is autism, where students who are autistic can benefit from the controlled environments that reduce sensory overload, which is usually a problem for them in a traditional classroom. Aside from that example, there are students with ADHD who can focus better in immersive experiences that block external distractions.
Mhm. And how about the cost? Is it affordable for the situation in Indonesian educations nowadays? What do you think?
Nah, in my opinion, ma'am, that is one of the biggest challenges in applying it because virtual reality is incredibly expensive and the Indonesian education field has many much more problem to invest their money in first before they can start thinking about buying expensive virtual reality into their education system. So for
So
now,
why do you feel eager to choose this topic for your essay in
because
contrast to the condition of Indonesian education nowadays?
Because I believe while there are some barriers, it is still worth it to consider the benefits of applying VR in education. Sure, it may not be able to be applied widespread in Indonesia immediately, but we can start considering the benefits for our students from now in the scenario in the future that we can apply it without any barriers.
Mhm. All right, that's great. I think this is my last question to you, Rodia Hassan. Are you interested in writing much?
Uh, I am very interested in writing.
Uh,
While my major is more engineering based, more practices rather than writing, I still enjoy writing as a hobby. And whenever I have free time, I take the time to write an essay or write a short story.
Okay. Good job, Rodia Hassan. Good luck
Thank
for
you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for the comment and insightful feedback. Let's hear some comment and feedback from Miss Indah, please.
Okay, thank you, Cynthia. Hello, Rodia.
Hello, ma'am.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very eager today. Very
Oh,
confident.
yes. That's good. Yeah, I can clearly see your passion in your writing and both in your presentation as well. Your ideas are very unique. It's quite new for me, the idea of using PR in a classroom, although it does sound out of reach, but it is very, it is great to consider for the future. And I would like to give some feedbacks on your performance. I can see that you're very confident. Your grammar is very good. Your vocabulary, you has a you have a variety of your vocabulary, and then your intonation is also varied. You don't use a flat tone. You are engaged with the audience. Although one thing I want to maybe one thing that you can consider is that about your gesture, you can add some gesture. And then about your presentation, I really like the way you organize them. It's very clear, although maybe it's a bit too small, but that's minor. And then maybe I can notice that you add a lot of citation, which is very good, but maybe you can also, include the citation on the slides, on each slide, so not only at the end. Okay, and I have a question for you about the topic that you are bringing to this essay competition. It's about the VR itself. It's really interesting, isn't it? But how do you think how can we make sure that VR does not reduce empathy or the connection, the human connection in learning? What do you
Okay,
think?
first, thank you, Miss Indah, for the feedback. As for the answer to your question, in my opinion, this is how VR, interactive multiplayer VR, can be applied because virtual reality itself has two modes, uh, single player or multiplayer. Here, Students in the multiplayer mode can still interact with each other as well as their teacher, so they can still get their social interaction through this multiplayer mode in virtual reality.
I see. Thank you, Nadia, for your answer. That's all, Cynthia, from me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, judges, for the valuable feedback. Now let's move on to our next finalist, is Yuda Ardiansyah. You have 10 minutes to perform your essay. Time is yours.
Thank you very much for the committee. Could you please share the screen first? Breaking news. The Ministry of Communication and Digitalization has issued a warning regarding a surge in online speech targeting adolescents. This phenomenon coincides with a growing mental health crisis fueled by massive exposure to digital content. Honorable judges, esteemed ladies and gentlemen, considering the news that I've just said previously, what's come to your mind regarding the urgency of adolescents' mental health in our digital era? Is it anxiety or perhaps addiction? Yes, you're absolutely correct. This is an issue that we can no longer afford to normalize. In response to this pressing challenge, I'm Yuda Ardiansyah from Universitas Indonesia, and today I propose an innovation of Wayang Evokar, a gamification innovation for digital emotional strengthening that builds on traditional Wayang card games. Next. Before we proceed, let's first we analyze on how is the background. Next. Well, while the digital era grants us unprecedented connectivity, it comes at a cost. The data from the Office of the Surgeon General reveals that majority of adolescents spend over 3 hours daily on social media, which effectively doubling their risk on experiencing anxiety. This condition has a profoundly detrimental impact on mental health well-being of our generation. A staggering report from UNICEF indicates that 15.5 million Indonesian adolescents are grappling with mental health issues that link directly to the digital age. These causal factors has multifaceted and complex, ranging from the pervasive exposure to the negative content and cyberbullying, to the relentless pressure of maintaining a curated digital persona. Next. Well, naturally, the government has not been idle. Initiatives like the National Digital Literacy Movement are commendable in equipping in public with the essential skills. However, the predominant focus remains on information literacy, which distinguishes fact from fiction, real news from hoaxes. Herein lies a crucial gap, which a vital dimension has been overlooked, that is emotional engagement in literacy. The fundamental question is no longer merely, is this information true or false? But evolves to, how should I feel and respond to this? To answer this question, we don't need to look far, because for decades, the traditional wayang card game has served a powerful storytelling medium for teaching social manners and ethics. It holds immense untapped potential as an instrument to bridge this critical gap. Next. Therefore, with this great pride, next. Next, please. It is with great pride of us I would like to introduce you the Wayang Emu card. Wayang Emu card is a digital, which is physical and digital education device. It ingeniously combines a cooperative physical card game with an interactive companion application. So this innovation built upon two primary objectives, which is to enhance adolescents' emotional regulation, and the second one, to drive revitalization of our culture. Furthermore, the impact of this solution is aligned seamlessly with 4 pillars of sustainable development goals, such as good health and well-being, quality education, peace and justice, and strong partnerships. Next. So you guys must be curious, how is the Wayang card actually work? So let's discuss on how it works. The game is consists on 3 components: Wayang character cards, and then a challenge card, and then the emotion card. The setup is elegantly simple. Players sit in a circle and each receive a character card and a set of emotion cards. The challenge cards are placed on the center, and the teacher or facilitator assumes a role of the dalang or the puppeteer. And the gameplay unfolds 3 distinct paths. The first one, the dalang reads a scenario of the challenge card. For instance, the spread of hogs in your family's group was on. The player of the dalang's left becomes the knight that tasks to respond this challenge. And the path 2, all players engage in a guided discussion to offer the knight diverse perspective on the consequence of potential actions. This phase creates a safe space for practice empathy. An interactive companion app can be utilized to guide the discussion. And in the path 3, the knight selects an emotion card that representing his or her choose response. Crucially, points are awarded based on the knight's ability to reflect upon the emotional choices, which is then be assessed by the dalang. To project the potential impact of this solution, I conduct a preliminary survey on 43 students, which is it is on the essay, and statistically model indicates from the data analysis, it projected a significant relationship between using Wayang card and increasing emotional resilience with a p-value less than 0.001. This model project each unit of engagement with the card is associated with a 1.075 unit increase in emotional resilience score. Furthermore, the student engagement and the Wayang cultural approach shows a promising positive trends which are nearing statistical significance. This gamified methodology is also not without precedent. Our benchmarking analysis includes proven methods such as UNOMAT, which is uniquely and successfully transformed a difficult project of mathematics into an engaging experience. And then there's a point of view, a globally recognized tool that uses visual card to foster perform dialogue and emotional intelligence. Next. Next, please. Hence, a brilliant idea must be feasible to be implemented. Therefore, I have mapped out hexahelix collaboration model, which involving key stakeholders, institution, school, academics, governments, adolescents, and social media platform. Our strategic timeline will commence with a 3-month phase for preparation and partnership, followed by project socialization, and then a pilot project in Bandung area, and finally comprehensive monitoring and evaluation, which is spanning a duration of at least 1 year with an estimated budget of 2.1 million rupiah. To ensure long-term sustainability of this innovation, I will adopt a 2 business model, which is B2B approach that targeting schools and B2C approach, which to reach the general public. Our primary target in here also consists of adolescents aged from 10 to 17 in both rural area and also in urban areas. Next. Last but not least, I have developed a risk mitigation analysis to prepare the worst case scenario. This project's success hinges critically on striking a balance between cultural authenticity and a modern appeal. Consequently, our highest priority risks cultural misinterpretation and non-resonant messaging will be mitigated through a deep collaboration with the cultural experts and continuous co-design session with our target users. So, at the end of this presentation, why must be wayang ilmu card? Because wayang ilmu card solves the problem. This is not merely just a card game. It is a digital, physical, and digital education instrument that leverage local wisdom. Wayang ilmu card is culturally rooted intervention that designed to transform digital challenge into the opportunities for the next generation growth of Indonesia. We are ready to move this idea from a concept to a reality. This time has come for us to build something new, something that fundamentally wiser.
I'm so sorry,
Well,
the
that's all
time
from me.
is up.
And thank you. Wayang ilmu card, control your emotion.
All right. Thank you, Yuda, for your insightful presentation. Now we'll have a comment session from our judges. To Ibudia, please.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Hi, Yuda.
Hi, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. It's very interesting about your topic, about the wayang itself and its application in the technology. I wonder about when did you know the first time there is a competition from Siliwangi University?
Okay, so the first time I know about the competition of Siliwangi University is from the Instagram, which is the account name Info Lomba. And there, by knowing that's competition, and now this,
When was that? When was that?
It's about 2 months ago.
2 months ago. Is
Yeah.
that right? 2 months ago? Come the committee?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, my further question is that it's quite interesting about your topic. But I might give questions and comments about, is that an essay or a research report?
This is actually an essay, but for the statistical impact is actually that is I'm applying from my studies, which in here just to knowing if there is how is the impact if we applying this info to more.
Yeah, so that's why I just wonder, because your writing is totally different from others. It does not look like an essay, but it's like a research report. Okay, so this I just wonder about, is it already a research report, because it's totally completed about from the beginning to the end, and then it's including statistical analysis, and then so I just wonder, did you do that within 2 months?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So basically for the writing is basically I'm conducted within the 2 months, and then I submit the essay is about almost the deadline itself.
So you conducted from the beginning to the end within 2 months?
Yes, correct.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because
Because I also
yeah.
Because I also look at your paper. It is written 2023. So I just wonder it was done before as one of your project previously, and then you just revise it. I just wonder about that. Anyway, that's about your writing. Okay, look at your writing. Your student name, but it's written 23 also at the end. Okay, so I just wonder about, and then it's a research report. Okay, so I just wonder about, is it an essay that you just begin like others, or it's already been a project of your courses, and then you just revise it as a report, as an essay, even though that I think it is still the form of a research report rather than an essay. Okay. Okay. Next question is that about have you already applied this
Okay. Thank you very much,
to
ma'am, for
some
the
schools or to your courses?
But firstly, I want to clarify first. I'm actually in batch 2023, but in the SI, I write in the cover it's 2025 because I conducted in 2025, and I just started because I haven't applied this previously. And then about on how have I applied this previously in some other school, it has not been applied yet because in here it's just on the MVP process, which is most viable product, which I designed through Figma in my computer, and then this is actually is well prepared to be implemented after this competition if it's success and if it has a good KPI or has been already to be implemented for the pilot project, previously is whether it's in Depok or in Bandung, where I come from.
Is it part of your research project? Is it part of research thesis?
No, because actually in my university we are teach to writing essay as it is almost look like with the research because we tend to include all the comprehensive things throughout the outline because when we are discussing about an essay, discussing about our argument. So in here I'm building there's a lot of analysis that is starting from on how is the visibility, how is the risk mitigation analysis, and how is the financial projection.
So it is much more on validity and reliability rather than the argument itself for me. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's quite interesting. But thank you, Bu Agis. That's from me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Moderator,
ma'am.
it's enough from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Let's hear some comment from Miss Indah, please.
Okay, hello, Yuda.
Hello, Miss.
Okay, how are you feeling?
I'm actually have influenza nowadays, but I'm feeling good and so enthusiastic for this competition.
Okay, hope you get well very soon. You did really well in your presentation. You gave a really good performance. Your intonation was varied, your voice was strong and clear. You gave us gesture and you smiled as well. Your PowerPoint organization is very good. And then you gave us visuals, a lot of visuals. You also gave us citation, which is really good. Maybe one thing I would like to highlight is some pronunciation and then just just pay attention to some clear pronunciation. But overall, it was a very good performance. And I have a question for you. I read your essay, and I want to ask, how would you measure the emotional improvement that students gain from this game?
Thank you very much, Miss, for the question. So how can we measure the indicators of how is the increase or the decrease on emotional intelligence or emotional resilience on the student? So basically, it can be conducted with the experimental analysis, which the first is we can proceed with the pre-test first, which in here we could know how is the level of their understanding about the emotion or sport then their daily life on where they're facing is that cyberbullying or the comments on social media and so on with a lot of information. Afterwards, after that, we continue with the implementation of the YM gameplays. It can be ranging from 4 until 5 repetition. After that, we can measure it with the post-test analysis, which in here we could measure it with the Likert analysis from 1 to 5 to know about how is their understanding on that. Afterwards, after we know, we gain all the data from the pre-test and the post-test, the next is to the data analysis, which in here we can use two kind of software. The first one in my faculty, we commonly use data analysis, which in here, whether it has already implemented, whether it's not yet be implemented, we can measure it from this data. So in here, we could project it. When we implement this idea, does it will be feasible? Does it have a measurable impact? Does it actually increasing their understanding? And then from the second one is from the psychology aspect, which in here we can use this is called like DASS 21, which in here is it is like a psychological tool to assess on how is the increasing on the emotional resilience on the students.
Okay, I can see that you're prepared. Great answer. And have you tried applying this Wayang Imo card to a group of students, perhaps?
Thank you very much for the question. Unfortunately, because I've just began this writing just in 2 months, so the YMM card has not been yet be implemented on the students. But in here, if we're benchmarking from the previous research for or previous implementation, like UNOMAT, there's using card game 2, and also there's also points of view. If you're benchmarking from those two tools, we can assume that is why an MCAR is also can be implemented to the students both in rural area and also in urban area to increasing the inclusivity of the implementation.
Okay, and have you got the product itself, or is it still a prototype?
It's still a prototype on Vigma.
Oh, I see. All right, then I can see a big potential in this actually. Thank you, Yuda. That's all from me, Cynthia.
Thank you, Miss.
All right. Thank you very much, judges, for the valuable feedback. Now let's move on to our next and last finalist from SI presentation is Hoironisa Salsabila. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Please. Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Hoironisa Salsabila from Universitas Siliwangi, and today I'd like to present about the integration of PPG curriculum into FKIP undergraduate program curriculum to support government efficiency programs. Okay, but before we start, I remember there is a question from one of my lecturers. So the question is, do you agree that PPG is not beneficial because it is repetitive and boring? Okay, so for now, let's skip that question because first I would like to explain the reason why I chose adaptive and dynamic curriculum as my theme. Okay, next. Okay, so the first one, of course, it relates to the topic that I want to bring about FKIP and PPG curriculum. And then next is to enhance the quality of the FKIP undergraduate program curriculum. So currently, FKIP prepares students to be teachers. However, once they graduate, they need to follow additional program like PPG if they want to be teachers. And then next is to refresh the current regulations to be professional teachers. So based on law number 14 of 2005, Article 8, stating that every teacher must have academic qualifications, competence, a teaching certificate, and a healthy physique and soul. Okay, so this is the law of PPG. However, the way this law is implemented is quite inefficient. So I explain how inefficient this in the next slide. And for the last one is to support the government efficiency program. Okay, so this is where the theme comes in. So this topic is a response to the new policy from the government about efficiency program. Okay, next. Okay, so here I also have the current timeline to get a teaching certificate. The first one is students need to go through around 4 years in FKIP undergraduate program, and then after they graduate, they need to apply to PPG if they want to be teachers, or even from non-FKIP undergraduate program, they can become teachers if they want to. But before they are accepted into PPG, we can see here there is a gap. So this gap means a waiting time. So students need to wait until they are accepted into PPG. It depends on the participant. It can be short or even longer. And after they are accepted into PPG, they need to go through about 2 semesters until they get the teaching certificate. And after that, they can apply to P3K. So here's the thing. So I already highlighted the three main problems here. So the first one is time inefficiency. Of course, here we can see the process to get teaching certificate is quite long. And while the quota of the PPG keep declining each year, so it will make the waiting time for the participants longer. And then next is financial inefficiency. So as we know, the government covered the tuition fees for PPG students completely. So for 2 semesters, they cover the tuition fees. So it can burden the government funds. Besides that, the participants also need to use their own funds if they are placed in other areas, uh, such as for living cost, and then foods, and then transportation, and so on. So this is contrast with the current efficiency program. And the last one is PPG curriculum redundancy. Okay, so I did some research into the PPG courses. So this is some courses from PPG. For example, the principles of learning and assessment, social emotional learning, educational seminars for professional teachers, the philosophy of Indonesian education, the leadership project, and understanding students and their learning. Okay, so this is some courses from PPG. And I also have some courses that's similar in my department, English Education Department, UNSIL. So they are language assessment, student development or perkembangan peserta didik, the profession of education or profesi kependidikan, and the principles of education or landasan pendidikan. So we can see the similarity from these courses. So these overlapping materials can cause PPG students, can cause boredom to PPG students. Okay, next. I also have the new timeline if PPG is integrated into FKIP undergraduate programs. So here's first, students will go through only around 4 years in undergraduate program, FKIP undergraduate program, and after they graduate, they can have a teaching certificate along with their bachelor degree. And after that, they can apply to P3K and apply to be a teacher. So from this new timeline, we can see this is shorter than the current timeline. And of course, it more efficient. Okay, next. Okay, so how this program works. So I have 3 points here. The first one is the intensification of PLP in FKIP undergraduate program. So it means that we can extend the duration of PLP in FKIP undergraduate program from 1 semester to 2 semesters. So it can enrich the students' pedagogical knowledge. And then next is the replacement program from PLP to PPL that used to be. So it means that before law number 14 was implemented, so the name of the program in FKIP undergraduate program is PPL or Praktik Pengalaman Lapangan. So it means that we can both back the authentic teaching practice rather than just observing. And then the last one is the integration of the PPG program. So it means that we integrate all the PPG contents into the FKIP undergraduate program, but consequently, the PPG program is terminated. And then, of course, and then next. Okay, so what this program benefits can offer. So there are several benefits. First one is achieve financial efficiency for both the government and promising teachers. Of course, if this PPG program is integrated into FKIP undergraduate program, it means that no more burdens into for the government funds. And moreover, for the participants, they only need to spend their funds for their undergraduate program tuition fees. And then for the next one is reduce the amount of time to produce professional teachers. Of course, the new timeline have a shorter duration, so it can produce more professional teachers and then protect the quality of Indonesian teachers. So here's the thing. Right now, PPG allow non-FKIP students or non-FKIP graduates to be teachers. So it means that not only FKIP graduates that can be teacher, but also non-FKIP. And if this program is implemented, this integration program implemented, then only FKIP graduates that can be teachers, so it can enhance the quality of Indonesian teachers. And of course, the last one is non-repetitive learning journey. And then also for the recommendation, this integration program, the success of this integration program lies in the government. So the government can legalize this program, and then also after they legalize, they can also give a guidance for FKIP on how to adapt to this new program. And then for the future researcher, it's also better if they found more efficient than this integration program. Okay, next. So, revert to the previous question that I mentioned earlier, I would say that I don't entirely agree that PPG is not beneficial, but PPG is indeed a repetitive program. But some of the content is useful for promising teachers, such as the authentic teaching practice. Thus, it will be better if the PPG curriculum is integrated into FKIP undergraduate curriculum. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Harinisa, for the insightful presentation. Now we'll have a comment session from our judges. So, Ibu Dia, please.
Okay, Rumisa. So, in what way that the government should improve the quality of PPG as well as the students of FKIP?
Okay, thank you. And in my opinion, government can improve the quality of PPG, maybe from the contents, okay? Because I did some research. There are several contents in PPG that are repetition from the FKIP undergraduate program. So, and then also I interviewed some of my relations and neighbors that are going through PPG. They said that what they learned in PPG are already learned in their FKIP undergraduate program, no matter what department they are. So I think the government can improve the quality of PPG from the content if they cannot integrate PPG into undergraduate program. So yeah.
Okay. And then so you said also that we need to, so you suggest that you need to collab the program in PPG and into our program in FKIP. Is that right?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Now my further question is that what is your suggestion for future? I mean, from both sides. What is your suggestion from both sides to achieve effectively in any aspects, including the financial issues here? So both program can work, work effectively, efficiently, and then in terms of the financial issue.
Okay, thank you for the question. And I think for the financial issue, if PPG can both work effectively with FKIP undergraduate program, I think it's in the regulation for the PPG students, because currently the PPG students can be placed in other areas in other areas because of the regulation from the government. And then also for the financial issue, the government can what is it? Oh, for the financial issue, because you know in this area in this time Indonesia has a crisis in financial. There are so many information, so I think maybe for the quota of the PPG, uh, quota of the PPG will keep declining if this PPG continues to be implemented. Okay, but if they cannot integrate PPG into FKIP undergraduate program, maybe the regulation that only FKIP graduates that can join PPG, because by non-FKIP graduates join PPG, it means that everyone can be teachers. So what's the point of the FKIP department if everyone can be teachers? Okay, that's my.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Moderator, get back to you.
Okay, thank you, Miss.
All right, thank you, ma'am, for the valuable comment and feedback. Let's hear some comment from Ibu Agis, please.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Hoirunisa.
Hi, Miss.
I'm interested. I'm interested in your last statement. Everyone can be a teacher.
Yes.
Is it true?
Yes, because the current regulation of PPG allow everyone, even from non-FKIP graduates, to be teachers.
Everyone can be a teacher, and I think it is related to your sub-theme that you've chosen about teachers' development and skill. Is it?
Yes.
I want to know your argument or opinion about that the teacher is not only teaching but also educating.
Okay. So it means that teacher roles are not only teaching, because they need to guide the students. Okay. So teachers are not technology, because technology only teach students with the already existed knowledge, while on the other side teachers need to teach students and also need to guide them, whether in the what is it for example, in the course in my course in English education department, belajar pembelajaran, or okay. I mean perkembangan peserta didik, so student development. So we here learn how to make students in the whether in the what is it, in the pedagogical and sikap. I mean, yeah.
At the end of your presentation, you say that PPG is not efficient, is it?
Yes.
Why? I want to listen again. Why do you think that PPG is inefficient?
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, so there are some contents in PPG that are similar to the content in FKIP undergraduate program. So for example, in PPG, they have the principles of learning and assessment. So I did some research on what they learn in this course, and it's so similar to the one of the courses in my department. So in English education department, I learned about language assessment. So and then the principles of education. So both of these courses deal with understanding on how learning occurs and how to assess it effectively. So there are so many courses that's similar in FKIP undergraduate program. So it's so repetitive.
Oh, repetitive. Do you think it is repetitive?
Yes, but some of the PPG content, like the authentic teaching practice, it can be integrated into FKIP undergraduate program. So once we graduate, we can have a teaching certificate and along with our bachelor degree. So we are ready to teach rather than just join additional program like PPG.
But how about the unsuccessful, for example, the unsuccessful or inefficient PPG? This is from the students teacher themselves in joining PPG a program, not from the program itself. What do you think?
Also, what if students unsuccessful in joining this program, the PPG program?
Oh,
Okay.
how if the inefficient of PPG program atau PPG or the unsuccessful program is because of the students teachers motivation, not from the program
okay.
itself.
Okay, so based on students' motivation, from what I after I interview some of my relation and some of my neighbor that going through PPG, they said that because it's repetitive and sometimes the lecturers are not there to guide them. Maybe not all of the lecturers, but it decreased their motivation to join this PPG, and the only purpose they join PPG is to only get the teaching certification. So it means that sometimes the qualification of the quality of their teaching is not what is it is not really good because of this decreasing, because of the declining in their motivation.
I think, in my opinion, it is a quite immature or premature if you say that PPG should be terminated.
Yes, I think my word
Uh,
is too strong, but yeah, the main idea about this program is the integrating. Okay, so not completely terminate the PPG. Yeah.
So many things cause the program not successful. It's not only from the government itself, but the teacher or
Yes.
the lecturer that involve their motivation can be the big challenges, I think, to
Yes.
make PPG successful. All right, Hoirunisa, do you have something to share or to inform to the students teacher to let them successful in joining PPG?
Okay. I think yes. I think the lack. I'm sorry, ma'am. The lack of. So can you
What
repeat?
are your suggestions to the students teacher that now is joining PPG
Okay.
to let
So
them successful?
okay, so I think for all of my friends that are joining PPG right now, I think it will be better if we keep in enhancing the way the quality of our teaching, because no matter the regulation, no matter the how no matter how, what we learn in PPG, even though it's repetitive or even boring. Okay, so the most important thing is how we teach our students good, because as a teacher, we are the role for the students. So yeah, we can enhance the way our teaching in outside the PPG, individually searching in Google, or even watch the experienced teachers. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's all.
Do you yourself want to be an English teacher for your future?
Yes, of course. I really want to be an English teacher, so that's why I'm really concerned about the future of all FKIP students,
All right.
especially me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoirunisa, good job. Good luck.
Okay, thank you, Miss.
Yeah. Likewise. Back to the committee.
All right, thank you, Mom, for all the valuable feedback. And well done to all our essay finalists. Let's give them one more big virtual round of applause for their hard work and brilliant ideas. And for the absent, you can check on the chat box. 10 minutes for absent. Since everyone has signed in, we will move on to the next session. Let's move on from written word to spoken inspiration. It's time for the speech contest final round. Here is the order of speaker for the finalists. First is Naina Habibah. Second is Chutia Nurfida. Third is Ilham Aditya. Fourth is Dwi Anjani. And fifth is Gada Alrida. Let's give them all the encouragement encouragement they deserve. It's time for some inspiring word. Please stay ready, speaker and audience. Let's get started. Our speaker is Naina Habibah. For Naina Habibah, time is yours.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Let me start my speech. Enhancing the quality of education system is wonderful, but enhancing the quality of equality is magical. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever imagined a little kid from elementary school in the rural area? They're sitting in their room and open the book from under the dim lamp. They're searching from the question only from the textbooks. Meanwhile, the children from the city, they hold on their phones and then type in the question on their phone, click enter, and in 1 or 2 seconds ago, they will find the answer. Is it different? Yes. And this is not just a story. This is a reality that happened in our country. Yes, of course. We have a lot of faces, we have faced a lot of phenomena. From that phenomena I told before, we as students, we need to take a statement. We need to designing a strategy that links three essential components, three essential aspects, which is the idea of technology, high quality teachers, and high quality communities. I believe with the integration from these three aspects, we will not only relate the graph from the rural with the city, but we also build the new environment education in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, a student in rural area is like a seed in our head. And the three aspects I told before is like the nourishment, which is technologies, and then teachers and the communities. First, let's talk about the idea of technologies. I believe we are as students in universities, we have the capabilities to use it more deeper than usual as the necessity of our education in campus. At our task today, we're not only tasked to using it, but we have tasked to create it. Let's start creating. We can start from doing a competition like we do today. Maybe an essay competition, speech competition, or research paper competition, business model competition, or any competition that we could pitch our idea on that. We have the place to pitch our idea, pouring our idea. The idea is not anything. Improving technology in education, of course. Maybe you will build a web that could have a quick quiz for students, or maybe a web that could build a really good vocabulary in English, or maybe develop an application that could send us one day one knowledge every day. Really good, right? Yes. You don't need to think about how can I actually. I only did it initiate, but how can I execute one day? No, just initiate it because we don't know. Maybe next day or next week we will have an opportunity to make it happen. Because everything is started with a good idea. The idea that speaks, the idea that shows, and the idea that brings fresh new ideas for our education system. Let's talk about the second aspect, which is the high quality teacher. Yes, the key of education. Let's make a collaboration with them. We learn from them, and they learn from us. We learn from them about what is the comfort method for the student that the student really loves. What is the method that's really effective to give a student in education? And the most important, what do the teacher thinks they really need to improving our education system? After we know the insight from there, the next step is designing the strategy. Deciding what is the strategy that match with they need, the necessity. We need to develop it from the maybe the technology that access that ever access or make it again. This is really important. After that, we teach them. We teach the teacher. We train the teacher how to use the technology as good as possible, how to make the technology as their weapon in technology to improving our educational quality. Because with this kind of collaboration, we're not only brighter our future, but we make something magical in the box of education in Indonesia. And the last aspect is communities. After students and teachers are united to have a really great collaboration, we need more members. Members that have a commit for us to developing education and technology in rural area. Maybe we can have voluntary mechanism or maybe collaborate with stakeholders like government or like companies or like maybe campus that have a lot of program or maybe like a school. Imagine when school, campus, government, companies, students and teachers are collaborating together, how magical it would be. Because everything that starts with collaboration is something that may be stronger, that makes something that happen in our life and like our education is wonderful. Booming, we're not only gonna grow seeds, but we're gonna bloom the most beautiful flower in education system in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, Nelson Mandela once said that education is one of the most powerful system, one of the most powerful weapon that students have to change the world. And today, we are, as a student, we are the core agent of change. We need to grow our seeds, which is the rural students and rural area with the best nourishment, which is high quality idea of technology, high quality teacher to teach them, and high quality communities to collaborate and build the new system. Because remember, collaboration is the key. The development and the big change it doesn't come from the education itself, no, but it comes from the good collaboration with initiative and the bigger collaboration with the brightest future. Now, let's have the brighter future for Indonesia. Let's initiate an idea and let's make a collaboration with everybody that could develop our system. Because Indonesia needs us, needs students that give them an idea for better, brighter future in Indonesia. My name is Naina Habibah from Polytechnic Negeri Tanah Laut. Thank you very much.
All right, that was a wonderful start. Thank you, Naina. Now let's hear some feedback from our judges. To Pak Junjun, please.
All right. Good morning, Nana. So it's nice to see you today. So yeah, that's an interesting topic. I mean, like about what you highlight about technology and the teachers and all other related elements, so that it can contribute significantly to the education system. But I think have a sort of questions. One question that I need like you to elaborate more. And then you mentioned in your speech that the quality, the qualified teachers may lead to an improved education systems. And then would you like to elaborate more and then give like a real example and then how this can happen? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Of course, we know teacher is the key of education system, but how to enhance the quality of our teacher? I believe the key is technology. Technology that live in our era. Technology that can make everything is effective and efficient. We can have like a training that consistent for the teacher. Maybe one day, 1 week, one time on a week. But it's not only about the explaining, but let teacher try the technology. Let the teacher try how to really use the technology as good as possible. Maybe like today we know, for example, we know that ChatGPT is one of the most artificial intelligence most users in Indonesia or even the world. Now we have the task to teach our teacher, to train our teacher to know how to make it as one of their weapons, which is we need to learn them, we need to teach them how to practice as good as possible, to make a good model maybe, to explain as good as possible, and maybe how to use anything and solution from that only from that AI. In here, we also learn before the teacher is giving what they learn to their students, the teacher must learn first, and the teacher must be the key first. So, me here, one of the most incredible things and one of the most key things we need to do is train the teacher, elaborating the teacher with technology, with the consistent training. I mean here not only one or only two, but with the consistent and of course applicable that related to what happened and not only about explaining for the theory. That's all.
All right, thank you. So Cynthia, so can I have like one more question, or that's enough?
Yes, sir, you can.
All right, so my last question is that, so you also promote that technology can have like, I mean, a positive contributions to the Indonesian education system, but now we do all know that there are more than 1,000 schools in the remote area. So how, I mean, what's your opinion dealing with a big technological divide in Indonesia? So do you think that we should still promote the use of technology, or how to maximize teaching with the limited sources? What do you think?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. I believe we need to maximizing the teacher with technology, especially in the rural area. And something we need to remember is we can say that technology has not only positive side but also negative side. And one thing we need to make it as make the positive side as our habit, as the teacher habit and as the student habit. So we need to maximize the time. We need to continue the using of technology in Indonesia and make it a habit for the positive way. I mean, we need to fill out the student times with a lot of productivity time with technology. We need to make them understand that everything we do every day we can use technology in a positive way. So they doesn't even have a distracted thinking about, oh my god, I'm gonna doing something negative or they doing maybe a negative research with their technology. But because they have usually use technology with a good positive habit, maximizing the research and make technology as one of the most thing that they can use as the beneficial program, beneficial thing. Maybe technology will never distract us, but technology will grow us and help us to build the new era of education system in Indonesia.
All right, thank you, Naina. I mean, that's me, Cynthia. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Pak Junjun. Let's hear some comment from Ms. Raihan, please.
All right, thank you to the moderator. Hi, Naina, how's your feeling?
That's really good.
All right, first of all, I would like to say that you did a good job delivering your speech, and then the context was appropriate and aligned well to the topic. And then you also have highlighted some key points of your speech by emphasized certain words to signal your main points so that the audience can get or can catch the main points of your speech. And then I also have highlighted one of the key points. It is related to technology. And then you also mentioned that today's generation like to play a handphone and then are really familiar to technology. So I would like to ask you, with the rapid growth of technology today, and then what's your opinion on selecting which technology features that are suitable to be applied in education?
Okay, thank you so much, Miss, for the question. How we can select that? What kind of technology that's suitable with our education? The one that's suitable with our education is the one that could help us to improving our quality of education. But what is the criteria? How could we know that? Of course, from the habit. But from the question again, from where the habit is got? From the teacher. Before the student is know, before the children are knowing about how to using technology, we need to train the teacher first, giving them new knowledge about what kind of technology, what kind of web, what kind of application that can really have a big impact for their students. After that, teacher will teach them about how to using technology. I mean, here some of me and my friends in class, maybe we found out that we're using to AI or application that we only know like that. Usually using maybe Duolingo for English, deeply for English, but after our lecturer will tell us that, oh, there is an application or there's a web that really help us, that will go more deeply, will give us more impact in this kind of aspect maybe. I feel like it's so mind blowing, and it gives me a spark to explore more about what kind of application that I could do, and maybe improving my learning way about application with technology. I mean, so how do we select it? Is I think the teacher must select it first. Just the searching is really rich. We can find it from nowhere. We can find it from anywhere, internet, or maybe from artificial intelligence itself. We can ask in them which kind of web or which kind of application that I could do for positive things, and doing a more research, maybe doing more critical result. I mean, here we can search from the AI itself for the answer for a positive way. So the conclusion is, if we want to searching the positive way or the one that's suitable with our education system, we need to do more struggle to searching it. And the first one who need to know about this is the teacher. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the answer. I think that's all from me. I give it back to Cynthia. Thank you.
All right, thank you, judges, for the insightful and valuable feedback. Now let's move to the next speaker, is Chutia Nurhuda. Are you ready, Chutia?
I'm ready.
All right, time is yours.
Hey, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Chitia Nurfida. I'm from Syekh Kuala University, majoring in English education. Every single year, even from 100 years ago until now, we never stop talking about education access for everyone. Why? In every seminar I join, in every webinar, even in community I join, we always spread awareness about how to improve access and quality of education in isolated areas. But why? Why we are still talking about this in 2025? Why this problem seems like an endless problem? Even though we have discussed about it for years, we talk about it everywhere. Even in this speech competition, I join a lot of speech competition. We always talk about how to improve education in isolated areas. It's like a routine discussion, or even just a formality discussion. Yeah, I heard about this multiple times in my classroom, and my lecturer said that to improve quality of education in isolated areas, we have to send a fresh, creative teacher to that areas so the teacher can improve and change the system and makes the school better. But this is the problem. How many teachers want to stay in those areas with no facility, with no opportunities to make themselves improve and better? Because teacher is not a finished product. They need to improve every single day, right? So yeah, teacher needs support from the people and the government. And it's not easy to just send the teacher there without any support, because even the most brilliant teacher, if they are put in the anti-growth environment, they cannot perform their quality better. So that's why teacher really needs attention from us. They are vulnerable, they are not powerful. And what kind of support those are? Prioritize the teacher. Please prioritize the education over everything. Because this job is not like another job. This job can determine our future and change our generation. Because I once go to school and interview one of the teacher there. And the teacher that I interviewed said that the biggest problem in teaching is that follow the curriculum that the government give to them. Because of what? Because every student is different. Student in big city and in isolated places is different. In big city like in Jakarta, they are ready to learn about difficult things. For example, like in English, they are ready to learn about past tense, passive voice,
or another theories. But in remote areas, let alone learning about tenses, they cannot even speak Bahasa Indonesia. So how can we expect them to change, to learn? They don't even know how to speak Bahasa Indonesia. They don't even come to connect to the material of the book, but we force them to do that. So that's why we have to rethink about it. Equality, it doesn't mean that treating the student as the same. Because if we think like that, they will not improve. There is no improvement. Because what happened after the class, the material disappears, students forget about the materials. Because how can students learn about this if they don't know the essence and the basic things about English? And teachers are forced, students are forced to learn something that not relevant and unfamiliar for them. And then they waste 12 years in school just to forget things. And then what happened? The pattern repeated themselves. The student become a teacher, and they did the same way as the teacher did when they were a student. And then what happened? And they talk again about how to improve the education and give an access to an isolated areas. And the pattern never stopped, and he was talking about it. So everyone, let's stop for a while and think about this dangerous pattern, because it is not about the facility, it is not about the building anymore. But please really pay attention to the teacher. Please makes us feel seen. Please makes us feel believe that we can support our education to become better. We are the one who knows our student. So don't punish us if we don't follow the curriculum 100%. And please let us to give a freedom to how we teach, because we don't want to teach our student and treating them as a computer that they can learn everything that we give to them. And let's start embrace every single student, because every student has different color and they shine in every single way. So remember, equality doesn't mean treating student as the same, but equality means give the student the same meaningful process. And it can vary, depends on the school, it depends on the areas, and who knows the differences is the teacher themselves. So please support the teacher so we can make our education better. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Shatia, for the speech. Now we have a comment session from the judges. For Farid, please.
All right, thank you, Cynthia. Am I coming through okay? Is my voice clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Chutia, I like how calm you were during your speech. So congratulations on finishing these sections. Maybe a little feedback from me would be the positive one, that it's good that you were really calm or when you speech, when you deliver your speech, but maybe more structured speech would make it better, so that we could understand more from the beginning to the end, the connections from the problem and the solutions you try to offer. So that's it maybe for the future. So I found that you went a little bit free fall in the middle. So maybe the structure could be something that you hold on in the very beginning. And my question would be, because during your speech, you mentioned this so many times, that teachers need support, that we need to prioritize teacher so that our education could be better. From now, if you look at the situations in a country, what kind of support that the teacher needs from the government, for example. So if you could mention, like, this is the most important one, and then the second, and then the third, for example.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. Well, teacher needs for the first thing is that the salary, because we know the salary of the teacher is very low. And why is it important? Because salary can affect the performance of the teacher. If they give the teacher more salary, they will feel that this is a job that they need to work hard on this because so many of my friends they pay low, so the psychological thinking about it is that the lower your salary, the the least important that the work will be. So that is the first thing is the salary, and the second is that please prioritize the the struggle of the teacher because teacher faces a lot of struggle. For example, like in isolated areas, they struggle to follow the curriculum because the curriculum treating the student as the same, while not students is different. And the one who knows the level of the student is the teacher themselves. So support in this means that please give a freedom to the teacher to teach based on their students' needs and their student level, so they can make the classroom more meaningful, not just a formality, not just teaching something that for so the student can answer the exam and then after that they forget about it. So yeah, that is the support that teachers needed from the government.
Thank you so much. And that would be, I think it would be good if you include that in your speech. Like, for example, you said salary, but then you need to elaborate the pain points. What kind of pain the teachers experience that affect their performance in the classroom so that we could understand, okay, this is a situation that needs an intervention. So pain point, I think has always been a good strategy to be included in your speech so we understand the urgency of what's going on. Thank you so much. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Pak Arif. Let's hear some comment from Miss Raihana, please.
All right. Hello, Chutia.
Hello, Miss.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm wonderful.
All right. First of all, I would like to say that you did a great job in delivering your speech. Although you only have got short time to prepare your speech, but you delivered it quite well. And then I like the way you deliver your speech. I can get some key points that you have delivered before. And then your pronunciation was clear. And then for what is it? Okay, you open the speech by stating the fact, and then what is it? It can grab audience attention to your speech, and then you also delivered some problems and some solutions about improving access and quality of education. But in some points, I was a little bit confused about the structure of your speech because you mentioned the quality of education in remote area and then in other areas, and then you also mentioned the solution and so on and so forth. And I think it would be better if you can connect each points more smoothly. I think that's all from me. Well done.
All right, thank you, judges, for the insightful and valuable feedback. Now let's move to the next finalist, is Ilham Aditya. Are you ready, Ilham?
Hold up, Kak. Before I start, is my voice clear?
Yes.
Okay. Can start. Wait. All right. Hold the skin. Yeah. Imagine living in a place where all you can see is monkey, 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 and sometimes crocodiles. Well, I do, or I did. In the beginning of my life, I live in a very formal area. in Lampung. It's called Tulang Bawang. It was a very locked area. It's like living in a place where everywhere is a forest and you are in the middle of it. And from education, do you know Laskar Pelangi? Do you know how bad the classroom in it? Well, that's my classroom. Imagine how my education is. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about monkey or crocodile. Instead, I want to tell you about the education is a right and not a privilege. Sometimes I heard people say that education is a privilege for rich people. Well, I really disagree with this because I think being educated in a good education is the privilege. It's not only privilege, it's the rights that all people should have. Because why? Because everyone deserves to have good education. Well, when I was a kid, I knew, even as a forest boy, I had potential in something. I love photograph. I love taking picture. I love seeing beautiful views, animals, and everything. Until one day, I told my dad, maybe, Dad, I can be a great photographer. And you know what he said? He said this to me. Why would you want to be a photographer in the middle of nowhere? Why can't you be just normal, like someone else, doing a farming? Well, that is 100 or 360-degree different from what Christopher Key researched in 2021 about increasing the technology in education. He said in that research that the lack of parental of education is actually making us sufferable in developing the better education. Well, people doubting me, not only my dad, my family, my neighborhood, even my friends, for my potential in photograph. Until one moment in my life that changed everything. This one time, there is KKN, or we saw it, Kuliah Kerja Nyata. We called them Kakak. They came to our small village and they gave me a magic, a tools that can change my life forever. Well, he was an educated person, of course. He brought a camera that could change my life. A camera that once I borrowed, I said, God, maybe I can do something with this camera. I grabbed that camera, I take a lot of picture of it, and then he knew there was some potential in me. You know, after that, he gave me that camera as an access, as a tool for me to shape my world. Not only that, he opened my mind, he opened my eyes to the endless book we call internet. On the internet, I learned a lot of things with this technology. Like on YouTube, I learned and teaching myself that, oh, this is how you can make a good photograph, watching a lot of videos, taking references from Google. And on Facebook, I start to post a lot of my photograph. And you know why? A lot of people liking it. A lot of people buying my art. Thousands of people. Something that I would never knew I would do. But this is potential. And now the impact of that is that I can pay for my own tuition fee in college. Imagine from the forest boy to the college boy. Maybe for other people, the transformation was so small, not important. But for me, as someone who live in the rural area, this is the best thing that I could do in my life. So I began to make my father proud. He said that, yeah, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should help you more. So that is the point of having a parent that teach you in education. Because we know education is not only in the book, it's not only in the school, but also outside it. The experience, the family, the environment, everything is education. That's how we develop it. If we wait for the education to get better, We can wait for them. We can wait for the government. We can wait for the teacher. We can wait for the curriculum. We have to fight back in ourselves, especially for people who live in such an area. So the point is, ladies and gentlemen, we know everyone has their own things. Not everyone can be monkey that can climb a tree. Not every fish can fly like a bird. We have our own potential. The point is, take one and make it the best. Perfect it. Because you know what? Education is a right and not a privileges. And to get your rights, you have to fight yourself. That's what we can do as people who live in such an area. And for other people, and for us, example, what can we do? Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this moment. Judges, you see me right now. I'm in Lampung. You are in Java or any other place in Indonesia. We can meet here today in the real lifetime. Imagine what this technology can do. Imagine how many kids I can teach a photograph by just using this Zoom. A lot of technology that we can use, a lot of access that we can give to them, a lot of education and a lot of knowledge. And remember, it's not only about teaching to improve the education. We have our voice. We can speak to the government in the big city that these people need help. These people in the street area need help. They need us. Please improve their education.
Sorry,
Thank
Ilham.
you.
Time is up. All right. Now we'll have a conversation from our judges. To Pak Junjun, please.
All right, thank you, Ilham. That's an interesting speech that how then you try to connect your personal experience to the speech topic. But I think I have also to be honest that when we would like to deliver a speech and then make sure that you have like a very clear thesis statement and then followed and then by strong arguments like claim, reasons, and then evidence. This is something that sometimes I feel a bit lost in your talk because I didn't get what you're trying to say at the beginning, like what is actually the main problem. Then if it's a problem based or problem solution speech, and then how then you can respond to every single problem that you want to mention. So at the beginning, you're seeing the story that you have. I think that's something, there's a sort of missing link here, but still interesting about, well, you mentioned that education is right, not as a privilege. The fact shows maybe different situations. There's one question that I would like to ask you. You said that we can also voice to the policymaker. So far, that what I experience is not that easy, like to get the access to the policymaker there. So what do you think you can do as a student to voice to the policymakers regarding some issues in education? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Junjun, for the question. I really want to answer it because it is very much of my topic. Because we know in this era we all have social media, and sometimes you have something called viral. Some things in this world that we can do is to get it viral, like through social media, through Twitter or through Facebook. And sometimes being viral is faster than actually telling it directly to the officer. And that is what we can do, especially as everyone has social media. Who doesn't have social media in this era? I mean, like even just post Facebook. And that is how you actually voicing your voice in this era. It's not directly, it doesn't need to directly, but it needs to be like if you just put your likes or your comments on that post, in those posts which vital about education, how bad our education system, it would be meaningful. That kind of thing that actually would help the education. We need to voicing it. Yes.
All right, thank you. That's enough thing for me, Cynthia.
Thank you, Miss.
All right, thank you, Pak Junjun. Let's hear some comment from Pak Arif, please.
All right, thank you, Cynthia. Hi, Ilham. How are you?
Hi, Mr. Arif. Feeling a bit nervous.
You didn't look like you were nervous. Because honestly, I like your stage presence. So there is some kind of gestures or characteristic that you have, the uniqueness and other things that caught my attention, especially with your personal story that you brought into your speech. But then the structure again, because this is a speech and it's a competition, so we need to like pay attention to that one as well. Also to some English terms, like what is the English word for KKN? Have you searched that before your speech?
Yeah, I haven't searched about that because we didn't have access to internet.
All right. Also maybe if we could like do a little bit of research on the vocabulary, like technical terms, like okay, KKN is community service program, for example. So that if you could make it like find the vocabularies, what you need to say in your speech that is in Indonesian and convert it into English, that would be great as well. But your stage presence is well shown. You are confident, which helped. Some pronunciation also might need a little bit of work, but that's okay. I usually don't complain about pronunciation, but this is the competition, Ilham, so we want to excel, right? But I like your hook in the beginning, which is the education is a right, not a privilege. But that also gives me inspiration, not inspiration. It gives me something to ask to you. The fact that we think education is a privilege is a problem, right? In your opinion, what makes this happen? What is the root problem that cause what's happening in education today?
Yeah, okay, all right. Actually, what I mean about the education is not a privilege is that the good education is not a privilege. I mean, like sometimes people bless it, like a good education, bad education. Yeah, as long as you get education, it is fine. But in this real life, we need to have the same education as everywhere. Like you can be having the different education in Java or in other places in Papua because everyone deserves to have the same education. Like if you have good education, it means that your place here is actually as advanced as other places in Indonesia. That means that it shows how care the government, how care the societies, the people in that place about the education. And that is why some people said that, yeah, I have privilege to have good education in Java or in central of Jakarta more than people in the Lampung, which is my place, of course. And I really don't like that because education should be for everyone. And considering a lot of people in Indonesia have really low level of education in a lot of places, like they only has an elementary school or high school, which is it's not even a standard for the job that we are looking for in this era, right? Like everyone should have clear education in the high level education, like in the college, in the university, some kind of that. It's not only about formally having an education, but having a higher and better and good education. That is my answer. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Back to Cynthia. Thank you, Ilham. Well done.
Thank you so much, Mr. Arif.
All right, thank you, judges, for the insightful and valuable feedback. Now let's move to the next finalist. Is Dwi Anjani Avrilian. Are you ready, Dwi Anjani?
Already.
All right, time is yours.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, what would you do if your dream of going to school was taken away? Not because you're lazy or you didn't want to learn, but simply because you were born in the wrong place or in the wrong situation. This is not only a rhetorical question. This is the reality for millions of children across the world. But before that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable judges, the participant, and the audience. First of all, let's thank to Allah who give us mercy and blessing so we can live till today in good health and with the same enthusiasm to participate in this speech competition Nation 2025. Second of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Dwi Anjani Apriliana, a public administration student from the Faculty of Social and Political Science, Universitas Diponegoro. On this special occasion, it is truly an honor for me to deliver my speech under the title Breaking Barriers, Building Future, Equal Quality Education for All. Ladies and gentlemen, Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Means that education plays an important role to develop quality of life and make this world to be a better place. But the reality, many children are left behind, not because they lack the will to learn, but because the system fails to open the door for them. Education should be a right for everyone, but too often it's become a privilege. So, what is wrong? What is the reason? The reasons are clear. Remote areas, lack of educational facilities, and the digital divide. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why the United Nations has set quality education as the fourth goal of Sustainable Development Goals. The missions are very, very clear. Ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030. But let us face the truth. 2030 is only 5 years away. If we do not act now, millions of children, our children, will still be left behind. And that's why participation is the key. We need commitment from all stakeholders, including government, civil society, the private sector, and local communities to emphasize innovation in education. Ladies and gentlemen, there are at least 3 key solutions we must commit to. First, technology as equalizer. Digital platform and online learning can provide millions of children to access learning research in remote areas. But here's the more key. Technology must not widen inequality. It must bridge the gap. Second, teacher development. No education system can be better than the quality of its teacher, right? That is why teacher training, digital literacy, and continuous professional development are crucial in improving the quality of education in remote areas. And the last one, student empowerment and policy support. Education should not only be about memorizing a fact. It should prepare students to be creative, innovative, and critical thinkers. So, government must create policy to develop our curriculum and provide facilities that can adapt to unique local needs. Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, let me conclude my speech with 3 essential points. First, equal access for education is not a right. It's a right, not a privilege. Second, technology, teacher, and student are the main pillar for equal quality education. And the last one, the vision of SDG 4, it must become our shared responsibility, including government, civil society, private sector, and local community. Like I said before, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. If indeed education is the most powerful weapon, then it is our duty, our responsibility to ensure that every child in the world has access to it. Let us commit to, starting from today, to open the door, to break barriers, and to fight for equal quality education. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all my speech from today. The wrong word comes from my limitation, and the right one are blessing from Allah. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
That was an insightful speech. Thank you, Dwi Anjani. Now we'll have a comment session from our judges. To Ms. Raihani Fitri, please.
Right, thank you, Cynthia. Hello, Dwi.
Hi.
Okay, how are you today?
A little bit nervous, but that's fine.
All right. Okay. For Dwi, you began your speech by asking a question, which was a great way to engage the audience right from the start. And then, however, maybe you might consider giving the audience a bit more time to reflect before moving on, and then this pause can make your opening more impactful. And then your structure, talking about the structure, your structure was clear enough and well organized. There are introduction, body, and then the conclusion. In introduction, you mentioned what Nelson Mandela said, which was a strong and relevant way to begin. And then you outlined the problems effectively, and then you also add some facts related to the topic so that the speech was not biased. And then the fact supports your arguments. And then you also use ladies and gentlemen to transition between points, which was respectful and formal. But maybe you can use other words to connect each points, to create smoother transition and improve your overall flow of your speech. And then I have got a question for you, because you said that we have what is it? There is a one point about student empowerment. So could you please explain more about that? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. It is why student empowerment becomes important thing to make equal quality education, as the article that provided by the panitia. So there is a student plays an important role to make that world can be a better place. So to make a better place, student empowerment, it must become sorry, a little bit nervous, but it's okay. So student empowerment, like students have to provide facilities by governance, like smart libraries, for example, and then facilities such as a room for exploring students so they can be better, so can be impactful for better future. That's it.
All right. So you mean student empowerment means that the government may give the supports, for example, in the library and so on and so forth, so the students can explore more about the lessons, for example. Is it?
Yes, that's it.
All right. I think that's all from me. Thank you, Dewey, and you did a great job. And I'll give it back to Cynthia. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Rayhani. Let's hear some comment from Pak Junjun, please.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Hello, Dwi and Jenny. How are you? Yeah. Is it clear now? I mean, can you hear my voice?
It's clear, sir.
Yeah. I think what I like from your speech is that you try to organize your speech when you try to raise one problem, and then you try to follow that by propose solutions that you mentioned here about technology and also teachers and then as well as students. But what I would like to ask is related to the technology itself. I mean, it's understandable that we now live in a digital era, and then so that like having such kind of the access to technology might help students to get the access to some different sources. But there might be some issues that may still exist, because there are also a lot of things that should be considered before we give such kind of the device. I mean, especially to those in the remote area. And would you like to give me like I mean, can you I mean it's your opinion about how then you deal with some potential issues about this kind of um, technological divide. I mean the digital divide that you mentioned earlier. You try to propose that, but I know there will be some sort of concerns. And how do you think we need to deal with that situation?
Okay, thank you for the question. So I have a short story, a little bit exciting. So my friend, so I asked my that day I was asking my friend like how she managed to finish her essay so quickly. Then she told me that AI helped me. So I'm still wondering, oh, that's like technology can be our partner learner as a student, right? Like having us to make a learning session is more helpful. But I know that every coin has two sides. Along with the opportunities from digital, from technology, yeah, there's must be a real danger like dependency. Students become lazy thinkers because of AI, because of technology, and then academic integrity, and then digital inequality. I mean, let's be honest, not every student has stable internet, has stable access to advanced devices. For some, yes, technology becomes a bridge, but for others, sometimes it's widened the gap. So technology for me, yes, it is helpful, but sometimes it is make a real danger. But one thing we should know that when we use AI or technology, the point is how we responsible and wise to use it. So when it's first, it's about technology, AI, and then for digital divide. Okay, but there is a lot of programs that government provide, like satellite, like Satria 1, are being developed to connect the entire school in remote areas. I think that is the answer if technology can be the part of equal quality education. That's it, sir. Thank you.
All right, well done. Thank you. I'll get back to Cynthia.
All right, thank you, judges, for the insightful and valuable feedback. Now let's move to the next and last finalist is Gada Alderda. Are you ready, Gada?
Yes, is my voice audible?
Yes, your voice is audible. Time is yours.
Okay, so I will give you two situations to imagine. First, imagine you're in a classroom where the teachers and students have strong connections and are enjoy studying in the classroom because they have good facilities, good students, good teachers, which can lead to the better future. And what will you feel? I will feel good and feel comfortable because we have good facilities. And now imagine you're in a classroom where you are in a place where it is hard to reach. What will you feel? I myself will feel isolated. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, to the honorable judges and dear fellow friends. I am Gadal Didla, and today I would like to deliver my speech with the title of From Isolation to Inspiration, Improving Indonesia's Future for a Better Place. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a 21st century era where AI and automation and global competition occur. And let's be real, we can't live a day without our phone, right? Especially in an education context. You're being forced to use technologies due to fast growing technology. Good quality education is an important foundation for sustainable human development. It improves our country, builds our critical thinking and problem solving, especially for students. However, in 2025, Indonesia now still facing challenges in education, which is the isolated areas. As I mentioned in the beginning, and maybe you are in a position in a good privileged education without even you realizing, because you will choose the first situation that I mentioned in the beginning. You don't need to worry of your education because you're in a good place and good facilities. But how about the students out there? Think about them.
They are hard to reach locations. Schools out there struggle to receive proper facilities. The girls from isolated place who's wanted to learn, to study, but they don't have the space to learn, to study. So why actually education is the crucial part? Why must we open our eyes to it? Because education is the first foundation of improving our life, your life, my life, our country. If we don't improve our life through education, how can we survive in this global world with fast growing technology? How can we understand the deeper context? How can we learn the basics of social, economic, and math context? How can we solve a problem without we don't even understand the real meaning context behind it? Ladies and gentlemen, as a student myself and a future teacher, we all must think about this deeper. We can't stay still enjoying our knowledge and skills without giving it or giving it to others, and while others are suffering in the remote areas. Because when we share our knowledge and skills, it is the door to the exploration. So how can we face this reality? The first one is using technology to reach them out. We can use educational technologies. Nowadays, who doesn't use TikTok or Instagram, right? We can use it as a source to share knowledge and skills of anything, because maybe it will go to scroll in someone's for your page, and then they feel useful for it, because maybe it will be useful and it doesn't require us to travel long distance. That will be allowing students to remain engaged even with limited source. And the second one is the effort and meaningful teaching and learning process. What if it's us in the remote areas? We're from the urban areas. We don't feel the reality of what they're really feeling. That's why we need to think about them, and to teach them in the remote areas. We can start to analyze what they need first instead of giving the real learning outcome. So that's why we analyze first that they need. Focus first on what they need, because sometimes it's not relevant to what they need. It must be step by step. And then the third one is making the local communities encourage the study, encourage studying to them, the families, the children, to make more flexible class, and the teachers can adjust to the local context, which mentioned by Rosanti 2020. And the last one is the commitment and the consistency from ourselves to study, to share knowledge to whoever it is, and to stakeholders, which to improve the facilities of the education, be inclusive, which it will ultimately not only improve the quality of life of individually, but also contribute to improving the better of Indonesia, of the social and economics broad, which is we need in here is collaboration, the innovative teaching strategies using technologies. So, ladies and gentlemen, as what mentioned also in Sustainable Development Goals 2030 in point 4, which is improving quality of education, we need to act of this problem. In conclusion, what I am trying to say is we need commitment and consistency, and also collaboration between ourselves, our teachers, the stakeholders, the government. Because what if it's us that stay in the remote areas that doesn't have the access to education? Because the people, the students from isolated place have big dreams. They have hope from small villages. That's why we need to encourage them. We need to push them to have the same access to education, because everyone deserves the same education, access to education, and have the privilege to know what we also learning, the knowledge and the skills. So lastly, let's bridge this education through ourselves first, and be real to the remote areas and aware of what they really feeling. Thank you. That's all from me.
Such an excellent speech. Thank you, Gede. Now we have a comment session from our judges. To Ali, please.
All right, thank you, Cynthia. Hi, Gada. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, how are you, sir?
Good, thank you. So it was a really nice talk that you delivered today. I like the closing line that you delivered, that you have to be aware of what they really feel, students and the community living in a remote area. But the thing related to speech, we want to make our audience feel the empathy, right? Related to the problem that we're discussing, so that we could connect, and at the end we could do some actions because we sense the urgency from our speech. For that reason, I think it's important in the beginning that you elaborate on how isolated area or isolations could give diverse impacts. Like, for example, what kind of opportunities that are lost having or living, being in an isolated area? What does it mean for them not being able to access the technology, good quality education? So in the level of reality, what happened to them? Compared to, for example, the community living in the city or even in the other countries. So that kind of connections, that kind of elaborations and comparisons, I think would be quite effective to make or to give a sense of urgency, and to also make our audience have the empathy towards the problem that you are discussing. Yeah, and it's good that you actually engage with the SGD in your speech. But my questions would be something that I didn't get from your speech. If you could elaborate on how isolations and all of the limited facilities that the rural areas have, make this community lose the opportunity. So what kind of opportunities that might be lost nowadays if we talk about the students in the rural area, and how that impact them in real life? Tada.
All right. Thank you for the question. I would like to answer. From the rural areas, they don't really have the opportunity, the same opportunity like us. For the real example is right now, I'm using my laptop and using my Wi-Fi, the real internet. We have good internet connection, and I also have a real story which comes from my friend, which she lives in the small villages. She really have a big dreams, but she doesn't have the space to go to the technology area of, because in the 21st century era, because she doesn't have the support system, or like from the teachers, as like I mentioned in the beginning, which is the teachers have the, what is it, teachers is the first, is the role to support the students out there in the rural areas. That's why it have a big impact to our country, because in some remote areas or some rural areas, they don't even understand how to use telephone or even use Microsoft Word, and also they don't really have the critical thinking and have the gut to use a problem solving. And that what makes it different to us who live in a urban city. That's why we need to focus on them and encourage them, push them to access the same education to us. I think that's the answer, sir.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Gara. So that's what I mean. For example, you stated that, oh, they could not use smartphone or use the telephone. But if you could elaborate, so why? So what? If they could not access to the internet, for example, so what it means to them? So what's the problem occurring to that? What kind of opportunity that is lost by not being able to have those kind of access? Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
All right. So I think because the opportunity that lost is there as a young people, they don't have, like the dream, the real guts to, what is it, to reach their dreams higher with the to the international levels, because their mindset is still stuck in the same villages that they, because they don't have the, what is it, the access to the technology, and that's why they lost the opportunity to higher levels.
Okay, so for example, so they have less opportunity to get a good job, for example, and they earn less money compared to the people living in the city, so that the quality of life is left behind, right?
Yes.
So maybe if you could elaborate that far, it would be like a complete story. Yeah, so that we could like give more empathy to the problem. Thank you, Gada. It was a well delivered speech from you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Farid. Let's hear some comment from Pak Junjun, please.
Right. All right. Gada. Well done. I mean, maybe this can be like out of context, but it's still relates to what you're talking about. I mean, regarding like the remote, I mean, isolations to what is that? Is that
Inspiration.
inspiration? So what I found is that people living in Baduy, right? At Baduy. So they're in remote area, but they can still, I mean, they can still live. So without any technology, they can survive. They can live like, I mean, probably better than us who are living in the city. And then how can you compare between what they experience in the isolated area compared to us that I mean, living in urban area? Thank you.
All right, thank you for the question, Mr. Junjun. I would like to answer the experience, like the different experience between the rural areas and the urban city. We live in the city. I think that the difference is, for example, like in Baduy, they experience in like natural living, like they know how to survive, but like in the real world, like how to make, what is it in, is like api unggun like that, and then maybe some kind of making foods, natural foods that they really know it from their grandma, and also the solid of the villager, and also the leadership also good in the rural areas, but they don't really understand the real meaning of technology and how to use it, because as I mentioned in my speech, we live in the 21st century era where AI and global competition occur, which we need to, we need to pass through this, because we can't pass through it without understanding the technology. While we, as a people living in the city, we experience the technology, like people in Baduy, maybe they don't know there is, we can pay with scan QR code, but we live in the city. Every day we use it daily to efficiently and effectively our time, to manage our time. But in rural areas, I don't think so, because they still the 100% natural human. I think that's the answer, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, well done. I'll get back to Cynthia.
All right, thank you, Pak Junjun, and thank you to all the judges, and well done to all our speech finalists. Let's give one more big virtual applause to all of our speech finalists. You've all delivered such inspiring and passionate message, truly outstanding. And that's bring us to the end of today's incredible performance. What a day is been filled with creativity, confidence, and inspiration from every single finalist. You are truly embody the spirit of Nation 2025. But before we close the Nation event, we will conduct a documentation session. So make sure your camera is on. Right. Are you ready, everyone? Right. 3, 2, 1. One more. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the participants, the judges, and everyone who has been part of this event. I'm sorry. Yeah. Your enthusiasm and support made today unforgettable. So stay tuned on October 19, 2025, and for further information will be sent to the WhatsApp group. Thank you for your attention, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank
Waalaikumsalam
you
warahmatullahi
for that.
wabarakatuh. Terima kasih semuanya.